Hey guys, Jeff here. Welcome back to my All About Rescue segment. It's been a while since I posted something to this playlist, so I wanted to do something a little extra special for you. In today's video are clips from a home inspection I did for an adoption. And the following video are excerpts from a home visit I did for an adoption. And just so everyone knows, I did get approval from the adopter to take this video in her home. And for privacy reasons, some of the video was edited out of the final cut. But you'll definitely get a feel for what a home visit looks and feels like. And at the end of the video that you're about to watch, I'm going to offer you a home visit / home inspection checklist, so you have that at your disposal if you are going to be doing home visits for rescues or for your own rescue efforts. So I'm heading out to do a home visit for this little guy. Where are you, buddy? He's so cute. So we're heading out, gonna do a home visit for this little guy, and if all goes well, he'll be getting adopted. And he was rescued by East Coast Canine Rescue up in New Jersey, and he's been with me for about a month for some enrichment, basic training foundations, and a little bit of behavior modification, only because he's like a pinball. Bing, 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 bing. So he's done really, really well, though, through his time here, and he's ready to go to his forever home. So hopefully the home visit goes well. So I decided to take some video of the home visit that I'm about to do for this little guy that's getting adopted, hopefully, if the home visit goes well. And I wanted to chronicle it. It might be helpful to other rescues, or even if there's some people that are kind of doing rescue on their own as good Samaritans and they want to do their due diligence and do home visits. I figured I'd chronicle some of today's home visit. I'll let the video speak for itself, but generally I pull up in front of a home and I'll take some video. I'll inspect the outside, the front of the house, the immediate neighborhood, because that'll give me more information to give the potential adopter some advice or suggestions on walking the dog, dog care, things about their environment that they may need to look out for, things along those lines. And I'll also inspect the backyard, especially if it's a fenced-in yard. I will walk the entire fence line, especially if I'm placing a dog that, might be a little capable, whether, regardless of size, whether it's a small terrier or a larger athletic dog, to make sure there's no areas of the yard where the dog can escape, or there's no loose boards. I've seen homes where the owner wasn't even aware that their stockade fence had a couple of loose panels in it, and I was able to point that out. So those are some of the things we're going to check for the outside of the property. And when we're inside, I'll take a walk around the home. I'll see where the dog is going to stay, perhaps offer some suggestions on crate placement. I'll literally get down on all fours so I could see the environment from the dog's point of view. A lot of times when we're standing up and looking around, we don't see what the dog sees. So I will actually get down on all fours. I'll look underneath, a TV cabinet, see if there's any loose wires, things along those lines. And in the case of this little guy, he's a jumper. He likes to jump on chairs. When he first got to us, he wound up on our kitchen counter. So, I have to point that out. I have to see the kitchen environment, the living room environment, everywhere where the dog has access to. I'm going to do a thorough inspection, and I'll offer suggestions. And this video is primarily about the home inspection, the pre-adoption stuff, the adoption application, the reference checks, the background checks, all that stuff. That was already done by the rescue, so this potential adopter is already approved for adoption. So the home check, the home visit, that's just the final piece of the adoption process to make sure that all T's are crossed and all I's are dotted. Yeah, now like if you had a front yard, a lot of times like with the home inspection, I'll look like at the foundation of the house to see if there's any cracks in the foundation where dogs can get under. It's yeah, you really got to think outside the box when you're doing these things, because we look at the world from our eyes. We got to look at the world from their eyes.
I know. Well, as I'm reading through this form,
so this fence is going to be a problem.
He won't be.
Yeah.
I'm not going to...
No, I mean as far as him being off leash in the yard.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Okay.
I can move them if you want me to.
No, that's fine. Just going to let him walk around a little bit.
I just didn't want to forget.
Mm-hmm. He hasn't done it in a while, but at one point he jumped on our kitchen stool and on our kitchen counter. He's an athletic little son of a gun, so if he winds up on your dining room table, don't be surprised. Yeah, definitely use this walking collar for now.
Okay.
And especially the first few days, maybe even the
Right.
first week, kind of keep him close by,
Yeah.
walk him around the yard a little bit so you get comfortable with him as a handler, because even though he's a little dog, you gotta treat him like he's a big dog, because
Right.
he's a tough little son of a bitch.
Well,
Right, buddy? Sit.
good boy.
boy.
Yeah. That's
So this is one of the things I do. I just get down on all fours so I can see the world from the dog's eyes. Get out of here, you stinker. Yeah, and he's not very puppyish, so like cables and wires and stuff, you don't really have to worry about. And it's not like he's going to be unsupervised anyway. So
yeah.
This little corner back here, he might like little things like that because he came from a hoarding place. I think I told you about my wife's craft room. Did I tell you that? He liked to burrow in the back of her craft room.
I can move that so it's flush.
Either flush or pull it out just a tad more for him to go around, but I don't think it'll be an issue. So, like I said, the wires, just keep an eye out for them. I don't think he'll chew them, but yeah, I could totally see him taking a nap there,
Yeah.
which is fine. Nothing wrong with that, And this crate, that's a great spot for it, nice and cozy. Now, he was in an airline crate at my house, so I don't know if you'll need to put a little blanket over the crate, but just something to consider.
Okay.
Airline crate is the ones that are fully enclosed.
Oh.
Yeah, he was in that one when he first got to me. The last 2 weeks he's been in the airline crate because it was a little bigger, so. Yeah, everything looks good in here. And is he going to have access down here?
Yes.
Okay.
And I will close the door at the top of the stairs.
Yeah. That could totally be a nice little cozy
That's okay.
spot for him. Oh, look, there's a bed right there.
Yeah.
It's all ready for him.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's okay that he has access to these rooms, but if you don't, just close the door.
Yeah.
Especially the first week or two as he gets comfortable with everything.
Yeah.
Come on, bud. You got to free roam around the rest of the house. Come on, let's check it out.
Yeah.
Come on, bud. Go ahead, go. Go ahead. Oh, you want to go this way? Go this way. Go ahead, go. Oh, he found upstairs. What are you doing? Oh, is it okay to come up in?
What?
Can I go in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. See, there's.
And I'll send you a little list of his daily routine. I didn't get around to it because we moved up the thing from tomorrow to today. So, but sit down, come, stay. Leave it. If he's approaching something, if you say out, O-U-T, he should drop what's in his mouth. So,
Okay.
Dave Cooper. That's what I've been saying the past couple of days. Come on, buddy. Oh, you want to check your crate out? What you doing, bud? He's like, get me out of here. All right, so we have his toys. Those are his toys. I brought a couple of his favorite treats too, a couple of bags of those. These are his records, and that's the safety loop to that walking collar and the instructions to the collar as well, but you're used to having that. And then I brought just about 5 pounds of his food too. Oh, another toy. And these are just a couple of Nylabone kind of recreational chews. He also likes duck feet. If you ever go on Chewy.com, they have duck feet. You can get like a bag of duck feet, like $20 or something. So that's a nice little recreational chew for him as well. So.
And these are.
Those are sausage jerky treats, made in the U.S. jerky treats. I think the company is called Top Chews. And these are just chicken treats.
Okay.
So also made in the U.S.
I know.
Now, do you have a leash or do you need a leash?
I don't have a leash.
Okay, so you can keep that one then. That's
Okay.
yeah, that's fine.
And you'll be getting Culligan.
And he didn't really eat much today. I think he knew something was up. I swear. I try not to humanize them, but he knew something was up. And normally I don't free feed. I like to keep dogs on a schedule, but I did kind of free feed with him.
I did with my Shih Tzu. They just didn't want to eat.
Yeah, and he'll eat when he's hungry, and there was no issues as far as like guarding or anything like that. But
How much does he get?
a half a cup to a cup a day,
Okay.
depending on his activity, and I wrote it on the bag as well.
Okay.
So the instructions are on the bag as well as the name of the food. So.
Okay.
Oops. So this is a great solid yard. If I was going to consider this as part of the adoption process, I would point out, and in this case we have a little dog, so she knows the the risks associated with him being out here off leash, which isn't an issue because he won't be. But even if I had a medium-sized dog, this is only like a 4-foot fence, so I would point that out, that an athletic dog can jump right over that. But otherwise, the fence itself is solid all around. I did a perimeter walk. It's stockade wood over there. There's no issues. The corner is solid. There's no spaces for dogs to get out. So this is what I would do here if I was going to suggest anything else to the owner, if there were any places where a dog could escape. The only issue here is we're placing a small breed, so the spacing in the fence is the issue, which we discussed. Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
What you got there, bud?
I'll probably put a blankie down there for you.
Where's your cookie? Where's your cookie? There it is.
Yeah. You're always hungry.
As promised, I just wanted to review a little home visit checklist for your reference. When you pull up to the potential adopter's home, do an exterior inspection of the home and the property. Think outside the box, check the foundation, look at the steps, is there anything in disrepair, check out the windows, the doors, if there's a deck or a porch, is there anything there that can potentially injure the dog or can cause a risk or safety hazard? And the same holds true for the yard. When you get to that point, do an exterior inspection of the yard, the fencing, etc. Be aware of the neighborhood. Are there dogs running loose, or does the neighborhood seem fit to place an animal in that particular area? Can the dog be safely walked in the neighborhood? Does the owner have a plan for walking and stimulating the dog on a daily basis? This can all be ascertained just by a visual inspection of the environment in the neighborhood. And don't forget about landscaping and plants and shrubs and things along those lines. Are there any potential hazards or risks for the dog that you need to point out to the potential adopter? As soon as you walk in that front door, your eyes should be scanning the entire interior of the home so you can get a superficial feel for the environment upon initial entry. Check the interior home for hazards that the dog could potentially get into, like loose wires or loose floorboards if they have hardwood floors. Access to any stairs that could potentially cause a risk or hazard to the dog, especially if you're adopting a geriatric dog. Are there carpeted steps? As you may or may not know, older dogs have a hard time with traction on, hard surface steps. You might want to suggest a carpet runner or completely remove access to the steps if that's the case. What areas of the house the dog will have access to. You certainly want to go into each area of the home that the dog is going to have access to so you could do that visual inspection. Get down on all fours. Seriously, look at the world from the dog's point of view. What you see standing upright is not what the dog sees. So look at the world from the dog's point of view. Check the kitchen and bathrooms. Make sure that the dog won't have access to any harmful chemicals. In fact, check all the cabinets. Dogs can get into food items as well. And don't underestimate dogs. They can open up cabinets and drawers and even refrigerators. So if you have one of those, you might want to suggest to the potential adopter that they invest in some kind of child-proof locking mechanisms for cabinets, drawers, the refrigerator, etc. Nothing is off limits when you're doing your visual inspection of the interior of the home. Keep your mind completely open so you don't miss anything. And taking video of your home inspection is a good idea too, because you could always take that back with you and do a second visual inspection of the video that you took, just to see if there's anything else that you could point out to the adopter. Check out where the dog is going to sleep at night, where the dog is going to be kept during the day if she or he is going to be left alone. Is the crate suitable in size? Where is the dog going to eat and drink? Check out that area to make sure that there's nothing hazardous or poses a risk to the dog or something that could get into the dog's food or water. And try your best not to miss out on little things like, do they have a lot of pens and stuff on the counter, or do they keep things on a chair at the dog's level that the dog could get into and chew and ingest? Do you see shoes or sneakers or slippers or other articles of clothing that the dog can potentially chew on? They may not necessarily pose a risk to the dog, but it's something you want to point out to the potential adopter. Are there any areas that pose any risk whatsoever to the dog that you're about to place? Again, keep an open mind, think and look at the world from the dog's point of view. And we're not going to get into introduction to pets or other animals that are in the house. Obviously, that's a video for another occasion and something you certainly need to consider if you're placing a dog in a multi-pet environment. And don't forget, when you're talking to the owner, you have to ask them about their tolerance level for pet-related activities, like digging or scratching on furniture, things along those lines. Do they need to pet-proof any area of the home? Make sure you cover all of that with the potential adopter. And obviously, as usual, you could do an internet search. There are tons of rescues out there that actually have their home visit checklists published. So definitely take some time and do some research on what other people's checklists look like. And finally, one of the most important aspects of a home visit, in my opinion, trust your gut. Trust your intuition. If something feels off, trust it. That doesn't mean that you may deny an adoption right there on the spot, but you may want to come back for a second visit or have an open dialogue, an honest dialogue with the potential adopter. You have to make sure you cross all your T's and you dot all of your I's. I can tell you right now, I've had an experience or two over the years where I had the absolute perfect, impeccable adoption application and reference checks, you name it, but something just didn't fit and I had to trust my gut and deny that adoption. And there's been another time or two over the years where maybe the application was a little off, or maybe they answered a question that I felt was not appropriate for that particular question, but something in my gut felt like this was a good fit, and I trusted my gut and I went with it and things worked out. And finally, the single most important aspect of a home visit or a meet and greet in general: how does the dog and the potential adopter interact with each other? Dogs are great judges of character. Don't underestimate a dog's ability to judge a human being. Always trust the dog. So I hope this little home visit video helps you guys out, and whoever's watching this, if you're involved in rescue and doing home visits or anything in any kind of animal rescue capacity, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know exactly what you guys go through, and I really appreciate the blood, sweat, and tears that you all pour into animal rescue. God bless, keep up the good work, and I'll see you all soon.